Alright, so you click this video because you're interested in building a frequently asked questions funnel in ManyChat. Before we get started, let's first of all discuss what ManyChat can do. ManyChat we will be using now on Instagram. And on Instagram, we will be asking people to write a trigger word somewhere, and that will trigger our automation. Well, they will be prompted to pick one of the frequently asked questions and they will get their answer. And maybe you have used ManyChat before for example, getting people to comment a word and then you would give them a blog post, a podcast episode, or even answer a frequently asked question. But I'm pretty sure you have not built something like this. So let's get started. First of all, make sure you grab your ManyChat. So open the program, log in, have everything ready, and then we're good to go. Alright, so here we are. You're going to go to My Automations, this screen when you're logged in. And then you're going to create a new automation and we're going to start from scratch and start with a blank. So we want a completely clean slate. Alright, then we'll create this for us and then we have to pick a trigger. So depending on if you have free or premium, you will decide if you want one trigger, multiple triggers. But for now, let's say we're going to create a post that will say something like, hey, do you have questions? We have a frequently asked questions thingy-majingy. So then you can select a specific post or reel, or you can select all of them so that basically people could just comment on anything and then they would get this automation going. But for now, I'm just going to select a random thing that I posted on Instagram already. And we're going to pick our keyword. And this is a really important part. So we want to make sure that it's something that is easy to say or type, that autocorrect won't try to correct it into something else, because then people will be like, oh, it didn't work. But for now, let's say that, FAQ is a pretty standard something for frequently asked questions. It could also be, you might be thinking, let's say question, but then think about if it's going to work on all of your posts and someone just says something like, I don't know, the real question is, some little bit AI generated content there, then this automation will activate. So it also has to be a little bit more specific and not so generic. It could also be thinking maybe it's about your services question. So it could be services question. But then if you look at this is such a long keyword, people will not be typing so much. So for now, let's settle for FAQ and then make sure that you're kind of not using that somewhere else. Yeah, but make sure that you pick something that is not too often used, but that it will also be something easy to type and that people autocorrect won't change it into something else. Okay, then we're going to press continue. For these random replies, I usually change them because I don't really use this emoji ever, for example. Send, check your messages. That could be something I would say, but again, make sure that you here select the things that you would actually say, because people will get this as a reply. And you can also say no, but it's good for engagement and showing people that you actually did something with their message and that they know that they should check out their DMs to give them a response. So yeah, you can change these things to something that you would actually say and that it makes sense, right? Based on what we're building. So now we're building something about frequently asked questions. So yeah, send, check your messages, could work. Link delivered. See, this is not going to work because we're not delivering them a link. Yeah. So we could say check your DMs. Send the details to your DMs. That's perfectly fine for now. Okay, and then we're going to go to save. So our trigger now that people have to do something to get something is set. That was part 1. Okay, so then we're going to go into creating the craziness. I like to somehow make sure that it looks nice in my automation. So maybe also want to outline these things. See if you kind of bring it close enough, it will be the same height. That's for me. Okay, so we want to tell people what this is about, because sometimes people comment and they leave Instagram and then they come back later and I have a DM from someone. What is this? So I'm going to say something like hi, and here's a cute, cool little feature. If you click on this item, this thingamajiggy, you can pick first name. If ManyChat knows the first name of this person, it will fill in their first name here. If not, it will be left empty and it looks a little bit weird, but it was a typo. It's an automation after all. Okay, so we want to acknowledge what they did, that they're getting this, and what this is about. We could say something like, I see that you have a question about us. You will see the most frequently asked questions in a minute. Again, special thing, I always say something in a PS right here at the beginning that goes something like, only available on mobile, not on your computer. Available computer, grab your phone. Because ManyChat automations only work on your phone and not on your computer. So we want to make sure that people can actually use this thing. Then we could add a button here that says something like, I have a question, so that we get a little bit of a yes from people. And here goes my little organizational thing. I like automatically put it up there. Yeah, so here we have set up the first message so that we acknowledge what people have sent to us and why they are why we are in their DMs right now to answer their questions. And we have specified that it only works on mobile, because otherwise they will be bashing this button, or they won't even see this button on their computer, and they will be like, well, it's not working. So make sure people are on their phone. And we're going to go on to the next step. No problem. I hope I can answer your question quickly, because we're all about speed if we're using automations. So what we will be doing here now, and I'm going to like pull up my sleeves. now we're talking business here. So what we're going to do now here is basically think about the most frequently asked questions in your business, and maybe also think a little bit strategically, like where you want to push people towards, because whatever you write here, that will like direct people's attentions towards that thing, right? So if you're saying, I don't know, do you offer discounts? People will of course be interested, do you offer discounts? But if you're not into discounts, or if that's not like the most important part of your business to like, tell people a lot of your secret discount codes, then obviously you're not going to mention that question here. But let's say you have a special deal coming up, then you could say something like, can you tell me more about that special deal? Hey. Yeah, so be a little bit strategic about the questions that you put here, and make sure that it will save you time, so that people are not leaving with even more questions at the end, but that they maybe leave with a next action that they can take, or that they have a resource where they feel like, oh, I can do something with it, or that they actually purchase something. And that it only very rarely will happen that people actually leave a question behind and that you have to answer personally and manually. Yeah, so that's what we're kind of aiming for here. And how this will look like is that we're going to add multiple of these little text boxes with a button, and then that will be like where people can get the answer to the question. And I usually add a little bit of delay, like 3 seconds is more than enough. So usually it can be even 2 seconds, I would say. Because what it will do, people will now read this message and have like actually time. Yeah, it can be read in like 2 seconds, and if you're not fast enough, well, sorry. But if you leave too much of a gap, then people are like, well, where are the questions then? Because people have no patience. So I usually do like 2 seconds, maybe even 1 second if it's like, something very needs to be fast now. But for now, let's do 2 seconds. And then we're going to add a bunch of like boxes. So you click here on text, and it will come with a button. So here we will list our questions. Let's say our first question is, indeed, I'm wondering how the special deal works. I don't know. Till when can I purchase? And I'm also putting this on top, right? Because this is like the most urgent thing that is happening in your business, and if people are interested in that special deal, then they probably want to know something more about it right now because it's ending soon, blah blah blah, right? This is my question. Let's see if that's too long. Oh, that's perfect. So what you also have to pay attention with these buttons is that you have a limited amount of characters, so this button can only have like one more character. Yeah, sometimes that can be like problematic, because you're like, well, I wanted to say more there, but I cannot. So you have to be also strategic about what you put on the button. So if you say this is my question, then you go Instagram post again. And look at me again, organizing these things nicely. But first we're going to put, let's say, 3 questions here for now. So the second one could be something that like 90% of your DMs and emails are about. Yeah, like how can I book a class? Add the button, and then we will add one more question, and that could be something like again, where you maybe want to pull more attention towards, but that doesn't have so much urgency as a special deal would have. Or again, you can of course list more questions that are like urgent or have been in your DMs all the time, but it can also be maybe something else, so something that is not urgent, like where can I listen to your podcast? Because that's not urgent, but maybe people go, oh, that's actually a good question. I'm interested. And we can actually call this I'm interested. This button we can call that. So again, it will be another Instagram message. Boop. Boop. And we will add one last thing here. And you have to check over time if people press this one too many times, because then we will just remove it from here. So it will be something like, my question is not on this list. And this is me. I also like to change like the text for the button so that they're not so like the same all the time, because then people can also get confused what they do. But if it's like very clear, like, you know, this is me, I can click there, cool. So it will be another Instagram message. Okay, make sure that your like little squeaky lines are like correct. So, and the reason why I set it up in this order and why I said that this last one can be a little bit tricky is because so we have so far built this one, but if you go to preview, see people, it will fill in it will never say first name like this. If they don't have a name, it's just empty. So you're all good here. So let's say I'm on my computer by the way now, but it works because it's like a preview inside ManyChat. Yeah, so I have a question, and see here it will like wait a little bit before dropping the questions, but the questions will be dropped at once. The thing is, like when you're scrolling on Instagram in your DMs, this will be the last thing that they see, right? So this will be the most recent message from you, and it says my question is not on the list, this is me. And there's like a higher chance, because this is what people see first, maybe if they don't realize that they have to scroll back a little bit, that they will just click this and they will still be DMing you. If that happens too much, just remove this. Like they just have frequently asked questions, don't ask any other questions here at this moment. Yeah. But the reason why we are letting it happen in the beginning is because this can be very useful and valuable information about what people actually ask. So what are the most frequently asked questions that are landing in your DMs if you're not sure yet? So you will collect data with this one. Okay, so we have previewed this. So this is how it looks so far. And I wouldn't add too many questions. Yeah, so this is like frequently asked questions, and you're a little bit strategic about what is included here. Okay, so next up, we're going to answer the questions. So special bonus works. Yes, the special bonus is really cool. You're going to want to say something about why it's like super valuable with all the answers. You want to start with like acknowledging what was the question, because people go, I don't know, you know, sometimes they go offline a little bit, come back and they're like, I don't know what this DM is. So again, each message you kind of acknowledge what this is. The real value is, you're not going to say it exactly like that, but you're going to say something about the value of that, whatever it is. Then we're going to create a little bit of urgency. It's valid till the end of the week. And then here, because it's a special deal, and it will open a website. So here we can put a link to the deal and people can just purchase the deal. You can make this message as long as you want. And what you can also do is maybe add the second message. If you want to say a lot of things, because if it becomes like this long of a message, people will like, well, I don't know. Right? So we want to also give that option to people. How can I book a class? You just tell people blah blah blah, this is how you book a class, and then again a button is book a class. Straight away going to your website to book a class. If you do not have a booking system, why? There should be a link here that goes to your booking page, okay? Because if you don't have that, this should not be the first thing you're automating. You should be automating your booking system first, okay? So we have that set up. The third question was the podcast. If you actually have a podcast or a YouTube channel or something, you could list a few episodes here or a few video links here. Great that you're interested in the podcast. Again, I'm acknowledging what it is. Lots of valuable info for back pain. I don't know, I always come back to back pain. But here are some great episodes. And then you would add the button. Or listen on Spotify. That can also be a way to go, so that you can go listen on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Again, you would put the website link here. You can also add another text block, so it could be, here is a great episode about blah blah blah. And again, you would add listen on Spotify, Apple Podcast as specific links to that episode. Okay, so these messages would of course be a little bit longer. And use your style. Do not, I want to point it out very clearly, do not write any of this with AI. This is already an automation. Some people will realize that they're kind of like, talking to a robot. So make it as personal as you can. Yeah, add as much of your personal flavor into this as you can possibly do. So if people have a question and we're collecting data, no problem. Feel free to drop your question below. So the thing is, here we will not add anything. This will be the end of the automation for them. And sometimes people don't understand and they'll be like, yeah, but where below? So I like to add something like simply type your message and I'll get back to you. To kind of indicate that this is not done by a robot anymore, or not done automatically, unless you have an AI connected to this and it will handle that. But again, if you're in the phase of collecting information from people, we want to just do this manually for the time being. You will also see which questions are popular, again, which ones are frequently asked. Those can again be shuffled around so that they are more higher up. If you see that nobody clicks a specific question, remove it because it's just taking up space. And let's do some house cleaning. So what we have set up, this is an FAQ funnel, and the trigger word was FAQ, and I like to put that in the name of the thing so I know what kind of things I'm asking people to say on my content and what they will get. Because if I'm going to build like a new course and I say, hey, do you have questions about the course? Type FAQ. They will accidentally enter this funnel and maybe not the one that I created specifically about the course. So you want to be like mindful of what trigger words are already in use, what posts, where they are like happening. And yeah, that's basically a basic FAQ funnel that you can set up, and you can of course make it bigger, but again not too big, because as you have seen, like if I preview it one more time for you, I have a question, no problem, it's going to wait a little bit, but when the questions are starting to drop, and depending on how long the questions are, it's going to be like a very big like thing in their DM, and the more questions you have, the bigger it is, and people might go like, yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna type anyways. But let's say this is it, so it's like nice and short, and then if they click something, they will get, well, of course, your actual message, not blah blah blah, and then they can just book a class, and this will go to your website, and then it will open like within Instagram, open your website link. And that is our lovely FAQ funnel that will give you data about the people in your audience, what kind of questions they have, what they are interested in, because this is also secretly a little bit of like, checking out what offers they are interested in or what kind of direction they want to go. You can collect data about what other questions people might have when they visit your page. And this is like basically very good for just collecting information about people. So that's it. I hope it was easy to follow and that you learned a lot about how to create some more valuable funnels in ManyChat so that you actually get more value from the program itself. And if you want more content like this, make sure that you like this video so that I know that you like this kind of stuff. and make sure that you follow me so that you don't miss out on the next one. Alright, that's it for today. I think you're awesome.